Good afternoon all of you. In the previous class we completed till standard enthalpy of formation. And today we are moving on to the next topic, which is the thermochemical equation. In this class we will be studying about what is a thermochemical equation, how can we write it, and what are the conditions for a normal equation to become a thermochemical equation. A balanced chemical equation together with its delta RH value is called as a thermochemical equation. So thermochemical equation is nothing but a normal chemical equation, but we need to mention the delta RH or the enthalpy of reaction. So when we mention the enthalpy of reaction for a particular reaction, it becomes a thermochemical equation. Not only this, but some few conditions are also there. We need to specify the physical state. So in what physical state, whether it is solid, liquid or gas or something else, whatever it is, we need to specify that particular physical state of compound or atom, and along with allotropic state. Yesterday when we discussed about enthalpy of formation, so when we took carbon, we mentioned that it is graphite. So like that, whenever we take elements with having allotropic forms, we need to mention which allotrope we are taking. So that particular allotrope will have its own purity. So that we need to mention in thermochemical equations. So first thing, we need to mention the delta RH or enthalpy of that particular reaction, and it should be a balanced equation. Then we need to specify the physical state along with allotropic state. Then it becomes a thermochemical equation. So for an example, we have an equation here, C2H5OH liquid, and all the states are mentioned here, liquid, gas or whatever it is, and we have our enthalpy of this particular reaction which is mentioned here, and that too in the standard states. So it is an exothermic reaction as we have negative value for the enthalpy. And now we have some facts regarding thermochemical equations. So the first one is the coefficient in a balanced thermochemical equation refers to the number of moles, never molecules of reactants and products. So if we consider reaction, yesterday also we told, when we tell a thermochemical equation, we speak about molar equation, we speak about moles and not molecules. So when we tell 1 mole of Fe2O3 plus 3 moles of H2, we don't tell 3 molecules of H2. So when we take half of this, we are not taking half of that particular molecule. We are taking half of moles. Moles is a quantity like grams. So 3 moles of H2, and when we divide it, we are taking half of it moles. So half moles of H2 we take. We never tell molecule. This is an important fact, you should remember that. Whenever we take thermochemical equation, we are dealing with moles and not molecules. Next one is the numerical value of delta RH, or the numerical value of enthalpy of reaction, refers to the number of moles of substances specified by an equation, and the standard enthalpy change will have units as kilojoules per mole. So whatever value which we are mentioning as the delta RH or enthalpy of reaction, that is dependent on the moles which we take of this reaction. Of this particular reaction, we are telling the delta RH value. And we will take an example for that. So we will see the enthalpy of reaction and enthalpy of formation of this particular reaction. Here the delta H formation of H2O liquid is minus 285.85, and that of Fe2O3 is minus 824.2. Both of them are exothermic reactions. And if you see, we are considering just this H2O and this Fe2O3. We are not considering the enthalpy of formation of this elemental forms, because yesterday we told when we consider the enthalpy of formation of elemental form, the value should be 0. So elemental form, enthalpy of formation will be 0. So we are not considering them. So calculating the enthalpy of formation is equal to 3 into that of H2O, 3 into minus 285.83 kilojoules per mole. This is of products, and the reactant minus 1. 1 is the stoichiometric coefficient of Fe2O3. So 1 into minus 824.2 kilojoules per mole. This will gives us the answer for the enthalpy of formation of this particular reaction. So if we change the mole, or if we alter the number of moles which is present in this reaction, we'll get another value. That's what the fact which we told earlier. So the value of enthalpy of formation and enthalpy of reaction which we get is actually dependent on the number of moles which we take. So the value which we tell is for the particular reaction, for this particular reaction with this much number of moles. So for this reaction, the value is negative 33.3 kilojoules per mole. And we are altering this reaction, we are changing this reaction to another form, which is we divide each of them by 2. So we take half moles of Fe2O3 and 3 by 2, 3 moles was there. So 3 by 2 moles of H2 gives Fe plus 3 by 2 H2O. Here also 2 moles was there, so 2 by 2 it became 1, and all of them we made it to half. And now we are gonna again check the delta enthalpy formation of this. So it will become, for H2O it will become 3 by 2 into negative 285.83, and for the reactant part it will become 1 by 2, which is the stoichiometric coefficients, into minus 824.2 kilojoules per mole. And we should see what is the value of this. In the last case we got 33.3 or something, that value we got, and this case we got 16.6, which is almost the half of it. So when we reduce the amount of moles, then the energy is also reducing. So whatever energy we get is dependent on the per moles of the particular reaction which we take. So whatever energy we get is of the particular reaction which we take. And next fact is that when a chemical equation is reversed, the value of delta RH reverses its sign. This we have mentioned earlier also, but we will see an example. So N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3. This is the formation of NH3. So there also we are mentioning the states which is present, and the enthalpy of reaction will be at standard states will be minus 91.8 kilojoules per mole. And if we reverse this equation, or if we write the decomposition reaction of NH3, so NH3 giving N2 plus 3H2, it's just the opposite. If we reverse the equation, then the energy will not change. Energy difference will be the same, but the only change is that the sign of that will change. The sign of the enthalpy will change to its opposite. So thermochemical equations, we told these are balanced chemical equations with the enthalpy of reaction in it, and we need to mention the physical states along with allotropic states in that. So, and we told some facts about it, which is the coefficients are, we are considering just the moles and never molecules. And the numerical value of delta RH refers to the number of moles of substances specified by the particular equation, and it is represented in kilojoules per mole. And we have seen the equation, and one more fact which we saw was of the reversible reactions. When a chemical reaction is reversed, the value of the formation of enthalpy, the reaction enthalpy will reverse its sign. So when we take an equation and reverse it, then we get the enthalpy value with the opposite sign, the same value with opposite sign. So that's all about thermochemical equations. And now we are moving on to the next very important law, which is the Hess's law. So the Hess's law of constant heat summation. And the law tells us that if a reaction takes place in several steps, then its standard reaction enthalpy is the sum of enthalpies of intermediate reactions into which the overall reaction may be divided at same temperature. So we will deal this with some examples. So this is an example which is given in your textbook. So it's a thermochemical equation where the carbon reacts with half O2 giving carbon monoxide, and the enthalpy is not specified there. So whatever the enthalpy is, what Hess's law tells us is that if this reaction is carried out through different intermediate states, then also we will get the same amount of enthalpy. The sum of the intermediate states will give the same amount of enthalpy, and the only condition is all the reactions should be done in same temperature. So for example, in this case the carbon and oxygen combines to form carbon monoxide in single step. If we split this reaction to carbon plus oxygen, first it makes CO2. So carbon graphite plus oxygen, first it forms CO2, and that will have a particular reaction enthalpy which is negative 393.5 kilojoules per mole. Hence it is an exothermic reaction. And another reaction is the formation of CO2 from carbon monoxide and half O2, the formation of CO2. With this equation, we can find out the enthalpy of reaction of CO formation. So if we reverse this reaction, then we will get the carbon monoxide into product side, like how we want in this equation. So we are reversing this equation. When we reverse the equation, the sign of this particular enthalpy only will change. So reversing, we'll get CO2 gives CO plus half O2, and we will get the positive sign, which means it's an endothermic reaction. So these two equations are only needed for us. So here we get the partitioned or the splitted equation of this particular single equation. Carbon plus half O2 gives CO. So that we have split into two. Carbon plus O2, first it gives CO2, and then CO2 is decomposed to form carbon monoxide. And in both the cases we have two enthalpies, which is negative 393 and positive 283. And what Hess's law tells us that the enthalpy of reaction of this single reaction is the sum of the reaction enthalpies of this reaction and of this reaction. So as the enthalpy is a state function, it does not depend on the path. So if it is done in a single reaction or single step, or if it is done in multiple steps, the enthalpy will be same. So we can tell the enthalpy of reaction of this particular reaction will be equal to the sum of this enthalpy and of this enthalpy. So if we sum these two reactions, we will see what we will get. So we should see the left hand side and right hand side. In this case, we have carbon and oxygen in the left hand side, and in another reaction in the right hand side we have carbon monoxide and half O2. So common we have oxygen. So half O2 and 1 O2. From this we can cancel off the half O2, and this will also cancel off to half O2. So this oxygen will cancel off and forms a half O2 here, and this will cancel off. So we have carbon plus here we have half O2. And if we consider this side, we have CO2, and in this side we have CO2. So both common is there, so we can cancel them also. So the total reaction will give us carbon plus half O2 gives carbon monoxide. So carbon plus half O2 gives carbon monoxide. This was the final equation which we mentioned earlier also. So if it is done in two steps also, we get same enthalpy. So the enthalpy of this particular reaction will be sum of plus 283 and minus of 393. Hence it will become minus 393.85 plus 283.0. It becomes minus 110.5. So it is also an exothermic reaction. So if we conclude the Hess's law through a figure, so A is giving B, and this is the particular enthalpy of this reaction. And if this reaction is carried out in intermediate steps, then it will become A giving C, C giving D, and D giving B. If both the reaction happen also, the enthalpy change will be the same, as it is an extensive property. So this enthalpy will be equal to this enthalpy plus this enthalpy plus this enthalpy. So that's what Hess's law told us. And one more representation of Hess's law, this you need to write in your notebook, it's very important. So if A is giving B, the enthalpy of the enthalpy of reaction is delta RH. So this value will be equal to enthalpy of this reaction plus enthalpy of this reaction plus enthalpy of this reaction. So all the enthalpies together, if we sum, we will get the reaction enthalpy for a single step. So hence it is delta RH is equal to delta R1, which is of the first intermediate state, plus the 2, the second intermediate, and 3, which is the third intermediate. All the sum will gives us a single step enthalpy only. So that's all about Hess's law. So please go through the textbook, prepare notes and submit. Thank you.